Good morning, this is Karen Farley from the Pierce Group at Keller Williams Shore Properties in Lavalette. And this morning I figured I'd take you along for a drive into Bricktown to go get some of what I believe is the best crumb cake in New Jersey. We're gonna go to Mike's Crumb Cake and Brick, and we're gonna take the drive from Seaside Park. So enjoy the ride. So we're just pulling down my street on the Bayside, and we'll pass the beach park again. I want to preface this video by saying that this is not where my natural skill lies. I am much better at real estate in general than I am recording myself and editing videos and adding voiceovers, so please forgive me stumbling around at all times. And since this is one of my first driving videos, I would also say, hopefully, I'm using my turn signals and stopping where I'm supposed to, but just avoid mentioning those things if you happen to see me do anything I shouldn't be. There's a little standing water from a major rainstorm we had last night, and that corner usually does get a little bit of standing water. Now we're going to merge around what we call the S-turn so that I can get over to Route 35 and then merge over to the right to get onto Route 37 to get off of the island. The traffic leaving the island this morning was extremely minimal, and even though it is the summertime, not a lot of people getting ready to go to work at around 9 this morning. So here we're going to merge to get over to Route 37 so we can get off the island. Now we're going over the overpass to get onto the small island in between the mainland and the barrier island. This is called Pelican Island, and it's interesting because part of the island belongs to Berkeley Township and part of the island belongs to Toms River Township. So the tax basis and the garbage pickup and all the town services are different depending upon if you live on the east side of the island or the west side of the island. Anyone who's ever been to New Jersey, to the barrier island, Seaside Heights, Seaside Park, Lavalette, you've almost undoubtedly crossed over Pelican Island. We have a little bridge construction, maintenance. Again, not a big deal at all today, even though it's the summertime. Them closing one lane is not going to cause any kind of traffic upset. But here we go over the Tunny Mathis Bridge, going westbound into Toms River. As I mentioned, we're leaving the barrier island and going westbound, and Route 37 is one of the major roads that goes east to west through a very large portion of Ocean County. There are traffic lights every once in a while, and another interesting feature that people who are not from New Jersey may realize when they get onto Route 37 is that you can't make a left-hand turn to cross the highway. You have to take what we call a jug handle. I went to college in South Carolina, and when I had friends come and visit for the first time, they had no idea what was going on with the jug handle, but here we like to go through the intersection, pass through the intersection, do a circle on the right-hand side after the intersection, and then you circle back around, and then you can cross over the highway. It's a very Jersey thing. I have not seen them in many other places, but it is what it is. Route 37 has a lot of commercial buildings. There's marina on the left-hand side, lots of self-storage, and all the other typical things that you'd find. Wawa, Quick Check, grocery stores, all that kind of stuff. The first major intersection that we come across is Fisher Boulevard. That intersects with Route 37, and we're going to make a right to go north on Fisher Boulevard. Fisher Boulevard will eventually intersect with Hooper Avenue, which also goes east and west in Ocean County, and that will take us into Bricktown. Here we are turning onto Fisher Boulevard, and I may have mentioned in some of the other videos that I've made for my YouTube channel, Moving to Ocean County, that I did grow up in Toms River. My family came down from North Jersey. My father's family originated in Jersey City and Hoboken. My grandfather's mother, so my great-grandmother, emigrated from Ireland, and she brought her 11 children with her, and they all settled up in Jersey City. Back in the 1940s, my grandparents bought a little bungalow in Bricktown and eventually settled down here full-time when my grandfather retired when he was 40 from the fire department in Jersey City. So I have a lot of history in this area. My parents bought a house in Bricktown before I was born. They had my brother there, and then right around the time when I came along, we moved into Toms River. My grandparents' house, as I remember it, you could only access it from a sand road. There were no paved roads back in Bricktown at that time. That was in the early 1970s, and we spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house. Originally, there was actually an outhouse that serviced the house. As time went on, they did some renovations to the home, and there was indoor plumbing by the time that I got there. Interestingly enough to me anyway, my grandmother was the first school nurse at Brick High School, and my father and aunt went to the Brick Township High School and went through that school system. And I believe my father is in the Brick Township Hall of Fame for his high school, for his athletics at the time. So, pretty late traffic. Right now, getting through Toms River to get up to Hooper Avenue. There are a lot of gyms and car washes and all kinds of things like that. Within the past year, there's a new indoor pickleball center that opened called Supreme Courts that I happen to spend a lot of time at, as I love pickleball. So not too many super exciting points of interest, really just highway. Caddis Island Park is one of the Ocean County parks that you can get to from Fisher Boulevard. That's a really neat park that has a walking boardwalk, and you can go out into kind of the marshes and learn a little bit about the coastal and river side of Toms River. Now we're coming up to the intersection of Fisher Boulevard and Hoover Avenue. This is very close to the main campus of Ocean County College, and the first neighborhood you're going to come upon on the right-hand side, or section of Toms River, is the Silverton area, and there's a lot of commercial offerings right there. Strip malls on both sides that have tons of restaurants, everything from Mexican to Chinese to bagel shops, to chain restaurants. There's a surf taco in Silverton. We certainly have lots of restaurant offerings on Fisher Boulevard and Silverton. The traffic in Silverton usually picks up a little bit because there is so much retail activity on both sides of the road, and it is only a two-lane highway on each side. So I would say the morning and afternoon commutes can be a little bit more trying on your patience, because a lot of the population of Toms River and Bricktown use that area to get back and forth to work from. So you just have to have a little bit of patience. This morning, the traffic was not bad at all. If you go eastbound or make a right-hand turn in the direction that we're facing to several of the communities, on the right, there are some waterfront communities. One of the main communities being the Green Island section of Toms River. You can find some really lovely waterfront homes. There's a couple of elementary schools back there, and just some nice quiet neighborhoods with a healthy mixture of some existing older ranch style homes to magnificent new construction that's lifted and elevated. So Anchorage and Green Island are both off to the right on this video before you get to the Bricktown section. Once you get through this next intersection, you start approaching the dividing line between Toms River and Bricktown, and you'll see the traffic eases up a little bit once we get past this intersection, and you'll be more in the area of Bricktown. I've mentioned in other videos that this section of Brick that we're going to be traveling through has a lot of commercial and retail offerings. A lot of big box stores. There is a Trader Joe's, there's a movie theater, just about every chain restaurant that you could possibly imagine, as well as local homegrown restaurants and shopping opportunities, outdoor furniture, a lot of furniture stores, a lot of smaller Italian markets if you want to go to a specialty market, as well as the larger chains like Stop and Shop and grocery stores like that. So If you're moving to the northern part of Toms River or Bricktown or Point Pleasant, you will become very familiar with this route down, up and down Hooper Avenue. Similar to where we went through Silverton, if you take any one of the right-hand turns off of Hooper Avenue here, you can access some of the smaller, some of them are waterfront communities in Bricktown that have lagoons that offer access out to the open bay, to the Barnegat Bay. There's also large park systems and churches and other offerings all up and down Hooper Avenue in this area. As we continue the drive on Hooper Avenue, eventually we're going to come to another couple of intersections where Hooper Avenue is going to intersect with Route 70. And this area of Bricktown has a lot of major intersections, which is good because it gives you access to many different ways to get around in and around the area. So Route 70 goes east to west. It parallels Route 37, and actually those two roads merge together in the community of Lakehurst. So there are a lot of opportunities for you to easily get to some major thoroughfares if you live in any one of the communities off of Hooper Avenue in Bricktown. So if you're commuting, whether you're going north to New York City or whether you need to go out to the Philadelphia area, there are ample opportunities for you to be able to get to where you need to get to pretty quickly. This area is where I was talking about, where Hooper Avenue sort of turns onto and merges onto Route 70. And then up ahead, we'll have an access to both Princeton Avenue that goes due east towards the Barrier Island, and Route 88, which also goes eastbound. It's a little bit further north, and will deposit you on the Barrier Island a little bit north into Point Pleasant. So again, lots of different ways to get to where you want to go. Today I chose to go through Toms River and Bricktown via Route 37 and Fisher Boulevard and Hooper Avenue. But on the way home from my errand, I took the Barrier Island route back to my office in Lavallette. So in that area, I took Route 88 all the way over the Bridge Avenue I turned off of Route 88 onto Bridge Avenue in Point Pleasant, which is also another really nice part of town. This boat brings you through Bricktown through Point Borough, and then you end up on Bridge Avenue and down into the heart of Bay Head, and then I turned south on Route 35 to get down to my office in Lavallette. So here we are getting onto Route 88. As you can see, all the streets are easily marked. It can be a little bit confusing with a lot of different highways merging in one point, but you'll get the hang of it pretty quickly. I want to thank you for riding along with me today. This gives you hopefully a little bit of a snapshot into what a little drive would be, running some errands in and through the Toms River and Bricktown area. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. All of my contact information will be in the description of this video. And again, forgive me for my awkwardness and my stumbling over my words and even some of my directionals, but I promise I'm much better at real estate than I am at filming and recording myself. So I hope you have a great day, and stay tuned for some other videos on my YouTube channel, Moving to Ocean County. Take care.